going to hand over to Mary, who's our recruitment and sourcing consultant, Matt, who's manager environment and planning, and Connor, who's a geospatial lead. So each of these guys are in our Sydney, and then Connor's in our Melbourne office. So Mary, over to you. Thanks.
Thanks, Kelly. Cheers. So I'm going to pass it over. I think Connor's going to kick it off for us here. Connor, over to you.
Mary? Oh, would help if I was unmuted. Thanks for that, Mary. So as kind of said, my name's Connor. I'm a geospatial lead from the Melbourne office. So pretty much I just kind of want to talk about Aurecon Pride and kind of what it is, and maybe just a story about what impact that has had for me. So Aurecon Pride is a network of members and allies to the LGBTQIA+ community that is really dedicated to driving inclusion and creating a safe space so that everyone can bring their whole self to work. So essentially what we are is we're just a collection of people based in pretty much all of the offices across Australia and New Zealand. And we're pretty much just dedicated to ensuring that the culture at Aurecon is one that's welcoming, especially to the LGBTQIA+ community. And essentially that everyone, essentially that nobody has any fear of coming to work and being themselves and being out and being just, yeah, their whole self, just being really, really comfortable. And I think Mary and Matt will talk a bit more about exactly what we do and how we do it. But I just thought I'd kind of talk about why it was important to me and what it has meant for me. So when I was a graduate, so I mean, a few years ago, before I even decided to apply for Aurecon or anywhere else, I attended a few seminars that were set up by the university I was at, especially about what it's like to be LGBT in STEM or in more specifically engineering. And quite frankly, like a lot of those seminars are quite terrifying. I was hearing stories of people in like mining who went out to site and they felt like they couldn't be out. They felt like they heard all these like terrifying stories of just like people being super, super not welcoming and not accepting. And quite frankly, I was kind of scared myself. I think everyone kind of makes the decision like, am I going to be out? Am I going to filter myself? Am I going to be really comfortable when coming to work? And I think when I did my research about Aurecon, it was Aurecon Pride that really convinced me that, you know what, day one, I'm going to be myself. Surely if they have a network that's dedicated to providing this inclusion and sort of creating that atmosphere, then surely like I'd be accepted. And to be honest, it's been fantastic. Having this group of people so committed to creating that environment has been awesome. Like not once have I ever felt like it's been something that would contribute to kind of hitting that glass ceiling, being a part of the community. And so, yeah, I'm quite an avid advocate of the work that Aurecon Pride does, and I think it's fantastic. So that's pretty much just a bit about that. I'll pass over. So I think Matt is you're next, talking about how the outreach kind of goes.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Connor and Mary, and for everyone that's attending, and appreciate the opportunity to be able to talk a bit more about Aurecon Pride. I'm relatively new to Aurecon, started back in October, so I guess not that new, almost a year. I've been doing engineering consulting for a number of years, starting ranging back to the early 2000s, both in the United States where I'm from and then in Australia. And you know, the attitude towards LGBTI individuals in society has changed quite a bit over that time, and even in engineering over that time. And, you know, I've been in varying states of being out and in and you know, a bit cagey about my sexuality and things like that at certain job opportunities, but definitely since being at Aurecon, there really is a true culture here of promoting diversity, all diversity, and not just the diversity, but also an inclusive environment. And I've been really, really excited to be part of Pride. In my time here, it definitely allows me to bring my whole self to work. And, you know, we spend a lot of time with people at work, sometimes more time than we do with our friends and family. And so it's, it's important just to be able to talk about those kind of simple things in life, like, holidays, well, not holidays at the moment, but holidays, and, just what you did on the weekend, what you got up to, maybe you need to stay home and care for a sick partner. And, you don't want to have apprehension about saying it's a same-sex partner or something like that. And those are all just really simple things that go a long way to making an inclusive culture. So some things that we do to engage externally with the Pride, with our Pride group, is with Pride and Diversity, which is a function part of New South Wales Aurecon here, and they have a annual rating system essentially that each company that participates with this essentially puts in an application, and there's a point system based on a relatively complicated list of things, and but on the different policies and procedures and how diverse and inclusive your environment is, executive sponsorship, those types of things. And I'm proud to say that Aurecon over the last 2 years has been a bronze recipient, which is the second up tier. There's platinum, gold, silver, and bronze, and then participating. We were just on the edge of silver this year, so we're hoping next year that we'll get up to that next level. It's not so much about the level and the point system, but it does showcase the hard work that we do. We engage with our clients, Sydney Water, which is one of our big clients. They've recently started an organization called Pride in Water, which is focused on the water industries and the water utilities and services across Australia. And I'm helping start a group with Engineers Australia called Inter-Engineer, which is going to be focused on raising awareness, support of LGBTI engineers or those in STEM industries, and ultimately try to increase the participation of those who identify in STEM industries, because it's traditionally not been the most diverse and inclusive industries. So yeah, that's about all I got. Mary, I'll turn it over to you. Thanks so much.
Sure. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Connor. So my name is Mary. I have been at Aurecon for almost 5 years now. I work as part of the people team, specifically focusing on recruitment, and I'm lucky enough to combine dual passions of recruiting and creating career pathways for people, and an active involvement in Aurecon's inclusion and diversity journey as well. So I am active member of Aurecon Pride, and I also sit on the New South Wales, so I'm based in Sydney, so I sit on the New South Wales Diversity and Inclusion Action Team there as well. So inclusion is very much at the core of everything that we're about at Aurecon. It's written into our strategy. And through those diversity and inclusion action team groups around the country, the likes of ourselves, Matt, Connor, and those within the sort of volunteer arms of inclusion, work actively to bring that strategy to life. So lots of things that we get involved with throughout the year. We really like to celebrate and commemorate any of the events in the LGBTI calendar. So things like Wear It Purple Day, Sydney Mardi Gras, and Ida Hobbit Day in May as well. Always part of our calendar. Really excited to be marking Wear It Purple Day on the 28th of August this year in a collaboration with our colleagues over in New Zealand as well. We're having an international event. Obviously it has to be virtual this year given the restrictions around the pandemic, but some great guest speakers and some great energy and excitement around celebrating the event this year.
And Asia, Mary. Asia's going to join us this year too.
Even more international. Fantastic. So yeah, look, some other areas that we, as Matt mentioned, that external engagement piece is really important to us as well. In the recruitment team, we are very actively involved with universities, clubs and societies, and very regularly present and bring members of the business along to present at diversity and the likes of NG Queers in New South Wales as well, just to, I guess, showcase what we're doing in that space and really build that engagement engagement with university clubs and societies. We collaborate heavily with our New Zealand colleagues as well. They have the rainbow tick over there, which is basically the equivalent of the Australian Workplace Equality Index, that benchmark for LGBTI inclusion in the workplace. And Kelly, if you wouldn't mind just to scroll down to the next slide. We've got some pics to share of some of our events that we've celebrated. Last year, Wear It Purple and Ida Hobbit, and I think there's another one down below as well. And the next one, yeah, so that's our Wear It Purple event from last year. The chap there standing at the front, that's Andrew Muller, our COO, and he is also our executive sponsor. So that is us in Pride. Look, I joined the Pride cohort probably about 3 and a bit years ago now. Really excited and proud of the work that we've done in that period of time. And just looking forward to and excited to what else we can do in the future.